And oh, it's still going. I had to jump in on this one because what's happening right now is just wild. So before we even dive deeper, hit that like button and buckle up. Trust me, you're gonna need it. Now, when it comes to Drake and Akademiks, man, this duo has officially become one of the strangest things happening in hip-hop right now. I'm being real. It's like watching the most awkward couple in rap culture fall apart in public. The energy between them used to be funny, kind of entertaining even, but now it's straight up weird. The vibe is off, the tension is real, and it's honestly giving midlife meltdown energy. And yo, don't think I'm here to play around today. I'm not. I'm seriously frustrated because hip-hop used to move with pride and momentum, and now we got two grown men, almost 40 years old, arguing through text messages about birthday shout-outs. Like, what are we even doing right now? This is hip-hop drama turned sitcom, and the internet can't look away.
I'm gonna give you a break, because I know you probably got another 20 children already, so you're not that family that he's counting. So, if it's okay with you, for the sake of the sakes of all these beautiful people that loved you for their whole life, and we've been waiting to see you our whole welcome home. We're so happy to have you. I'm gonna ask, and you tell me if it's okay. If I could shell off like, maybe I'll do 5, maybe I don't know yet. In front of everybody, I can see everybody. Yeah. Hey. I just want to say, we were just up there talking, me, Chubbs, Future, we were just talking about how much time we spent with your music. Look at all these people right here, how much time we've spent with this man's music right here. I used to hand out flyers outside of a club called Escape just to go inside to the club and listen to your tune. So one more time, please, as a city, as a family, make some the world bosses. Damn! Make some noise! Right now!
And then we saw the responses, oh man, what happened to the game I used to love? This ain't the same hip-hop anymore. But for everyone wondering exactly what I'm talking about, let's break it all the way down. Because this story starts with none other than DJ Akademiks and his close buddy, Drake. Now, their so-called friendship, easily one of the strangest connections we've ever seen in this culture. Like, for real, this whole dynamic feels straight out of some weird movie, maybe even a lost episode of Degrassi, which, funny enough, makes perfect sense for Drake, right? But here's where it gets embarrassing. These are the same dudes who love to clown other rappers, mock fans who actually care about the craft and act like they're above the culture, yet now they're caught in the most awkward bromance meltdown imaginable. It all started when Akademiks dropped this post saying, "The GOAT, your GOAT and my GOAT, more life Iceman soon." That line alone had people scratching their heads, but the real chaos came from what he attached to it, a private DM from Drake himself. According to Ak, the post went up on October 25th around noon, meaning this message from Drake probably came in just after midnight, literally 12:38 a.m., half an hour after his birthday ended. And what did a grown 40-year-old man do next? He jumped into Akademiks' DMs with, "No B-Day wish from my right hand, love you big Ak." Like what? That's the kind of message you expect from someone in high school, not from one of the biggest artists in the world. And if that wasn't awkward enough, the wildest part is what Akademiks did after ignoring that birthday text. Maybe Ak ignored him out of spite.
Even some of his friends was tired of him winning. The rap was like, "Oh, you lost, it's over." Yo, the industry been at an all-time low. The that watched the party, all he did was industry, because nothing been popping since. The industry is down. I was watching Joe Budden podcast. He said, man, the industry fell off since Drake ain't dropped. I heard Elliot Wilson say, these Drake don't even like them. They had to finally admit it, man. The industry ain't without Aubrey, mother. Yo, these been so bored otherwise. They're like, yo, nah, I ain't gonna lie. It was funner when Drake was dropping it like the industry. Yeah, you had this leprechaun coming with all this line, starting the Me Too wave, talking about he had this, he had that, weird case. I bet the whole industry down right now, man. It's like in Batman when they start showing this Gotham City. Yo, we have the bat signal. Where is Drake? The crime is getting out of control. What didn't y'all say? Y'all tired of Batman and he was a menace too? Oh, nah, we not tired of him no more. Come back, Batman, come back. I try to tune into Elliot Wilson's show. He ain't got nothing to talk about. Made a big topic out of me saying that Wabi wanted to do some joint with Drake. You know why? There ain't nothing that exciting. Drake went on tour, you leaving y'all alone? Go talk about Deutsche. Y'all want to talk about Deutsche? Deutsche popping? They don't want to talk about Deutsche. No. They want to talk about the boy. Why y'all want to talk about Baby Keem? Yo, it was Baby Keem's birthday yesterday. Look, they all going to talk about Drake's birthday and his age today. Not one of them. Yo, that's Baby Keem's birthday. Why haven't we seen it? That shit, chat. They don't want to talk about it.
Or maybe he was just done talking to Drake at that moment. Who knows? These two seriously have the strangest bond I've ever seen between grown men and hip-hop. But then Ak finally hit back with, "More life, my G, you know we locked in. Let's go up one time. I hope you cherish these moments for real. You the GOAT, enjoy yourself, bro." Like, what even is this conversation? They dropped this weird back and forth like it was supposed to be inspirational or something, but honestly, it came off like pure cringe. I can't lie. Seeing this play out publicly feels like watching two people trying way too hard to prove their friendship is real. And yo, we can't just ignore it either. This right here is hip-hop comedy at its finest, but also kind of sad, because what followed made the whole thing even messier. After Drake slid into Ak's DMs with that no B-Day wish message, and Ak decided to post it publicly, everything shifted. What should have stayed private turned into a full-blown internet spectacle, and at this point, it looked like public humiliation. Now here's the twist. Maybe that was Drake's whole plan from the start. Like maybe he wanted to reel Ak back in, smooth things over, and remind him who runs the game. Because right after that, Akademiks suddenly started moving different, almost like he was back on Team Drake. Ever since that moment, Ak's been going on these wild rants, and guess who's catching the heat? Kendrick Lamar. Yup, the same Kendrick who's been untouchable all year. Ak's been throwing shade, hyping up Drake, and going all in on anti-Kendrick talk like he's defending his best friend's honor. And trust me, you don't even have to imagine how unhinged it got. We're about to watch that rant together, and it's one for the books. And now, we got Akademiks out here on a full-blown rant, calling Drake Batman and acting like Kendrick Lamar is somehow the villain destroying the industry. Like, come on! I get what IK's trying to do, though. He's spinning this dry moment in hip-hop, where nothing major's really happening, into a fake narrative to keep Drake looking like the savior of rap. Right now, the only real movement we've seen comes from Kendrick's brilliance. The man doesn't even have to say much. His presence alone shakes the whole culture. Meanwhile, Drake's momentum is fading, and Ak's out here twisting that into a story about how Kendrick's success somehow hurts the game. Like what? Aki's basically saying if Drake was still dropping heat, everything in the culture would be perfect again. That the whole rap scene depends on him. But that's straight delusion. You can't blame Kendrick for shining when others went quiet. Let's be honest, this isn't about Kendrick. This is about Drake's circle being too comfortable. These are his homies, his proteges, his people. If Drake really was that unstoppable force Ak keeps hyping up, wouldn't his crew be outside dropping records, shaking up the charts, and proving it? Instead, we're watching them coast while Kendrick keeps the art alive. Ak keeps talking like Drake's downfall is some conspiracy, when in reality it's just a lack of hunger. But because let's face it, if these rappers were actually about the craft, they'd be using this slow season to dominate. The stage is wide open. Fans are starving for something fresh, and this could have been the perfect time to drop a classic. But instead, we're getting podcast drama, birthday DMs, and Batman talk. Like, seriously? But you know how it goes. Every single time Drake gives Akademiks that little spark, he runs straight to the mic with the most over-the-top, pro-Drake, anti-Kendrick energy imaginable. It's like clockwork. Ak flips the whole script to make Kendrick look like the problem, when in reality, that's just not how this works. Sure, I'll give him this. Some of what Ak says about the rap game being dry right now isn't wrong. A lot of artists are quiet, the energy is low, and most rappers don't seem hungry anymore. But let's be real. Blaming Kendrick Lamar for that? That's wild. Kendrick's not the reason things feel stale. He's the reason we still care. Every time Kendrick moves, the culture wakes up, whether he's dropping a verse, popping up on tour with Playboy Cardi, or just being mentioned by Joe Budden, the internet explodes. He's literally the only one sparking real conversations, and somehow Ak twists that into negativity? Like, come on. Kendrick's presence keeps the bar high. Meanwhile, Drake's side of the game is stuck on repeat. It's the same excuses, the same stories, and the same energy that just doesn't hit like it used to. And Ak, instead of keeping it real, keeps pushing the Drake can do no wrong narrative like he's on payroll. What makes it even crazier is how he acts like Drake's been sitting in the shadows doing nothing, when in reality, Drake's been everywhere. He's been outside nonstop since the beef cooled down, club appearances, events, random viral moments, you name it. It's like he's doing everything possible to stay visible, but somehow the music still feels missing. So when Ak jumps online acting like Drake's the victim and Kendrick's the villain, it's pure comedy, because deep down, everyone sees what's really happening. Ak isn't giving hip-hop analysis, he's doing damage control for Drake, and trust me, that loyalty's about to get tested again real soon, because Drake's latest move for attention just made things even messier. First off, let's keep it 100. That's a straight up lie, because Drake has actually been everywhere. He's dropped more songs, shown up at more events, and created more viral moments than almost anyone this year. Even Kendrick. But here's the thing, none of it's hit. Quantity over quality doesn't work when the music just isn't connecting. From canceled shows to weak streams, from songs that come and go overnight to albums that barely hold up a week, Drake's been outside, yeah, but the impact just isn't there. And that's the truth people don't want to admit. If Drake really was the powerhouse Ak keeps calling him, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't need all these excuses or fake narratives about why the culture's against him. The music would speak for itself, but it hasn't. Remember, What Did I Miss? Gone in a week. Came and went, exactly that. It came and went. Doghouse, another quick flop that barely made a ripple. Every release lately has vanished before it could even trend properly. And that's not hate, that's reality. So when Ak tries to paint this as some conspiracy, like Drake's been exiled from the industry or silenced, it's laughable. Nobody banned him, he's just not hitting like he used to. Instead of owning up to that, Ak's out here spinning tales, acting like Drake's being held hostage by the culture. At this point, it's embarrassing. Watching a grown man twist himself into knots lying for another dude who doesn't even need defending is wild. Because deep down, everyone can see it. Drake's not on the bench, he's just missing the basket. And the more Ak pretends otherwise, the worse it looks for both of them. See, here's the thing. Once you look past Akademiks' Drake-approved talking points, the truth hits different. Yeah, Drake's been outside, but after taking a short break from some of the most embarrassing public moments of his career, he's now back with this new little birthday concert series through OVO Sound. And guess who's the headliner? Vybz Kartel. On paper, it sounds big. But when you look closer, it feels more like Drake trying to cope. He's out here overcompensating, trying to reconnect with the six, acting like he's one with the city again after years of feeling distant from it. The energy feels forced, almost like he's trying to remind people he still belongs there. And honestly, it's been rough to watch, especially after how Pharrell and The Weeknd completely stole the spotlight during the World Series event, leaving Drake in the shadows. That moment said a lot without a single word. Now he's coming back with these OVO Sound shows, trying to reclaim that narrative, trying to show he still has influence at home. But here's the truth. The crowd reaction told another story. You could feel the pressure in the air because this wasn't just another show. This was Drake's test to prove he still runs Toronto culture. And yet, instead of a triumphant return, it all just felt hollow. The excitement wasn't there like before. The vibe was off. Even fans online were split. Some hyped him up for the effort. Others said it felt desperate. If Akademiks was right about Drake still being that unstoppable force, this OVO Sound revival should have been a moment. It should have sparked conversation, shifted the culture, and reminded everyone who the real top dog was, but instead, silence. The buzz faded fast, and that says everything about where Drake really stands right now. Not on top of the world, but fighting to prove he still belongs in it. And once again, Drake managed to turn what could have been a big comeback moment into another embarrassing scene. It honestly looked like he was straight up trying to copy Vybz Kartel's entire vibe. The accent, the swagger, the stage energy, like he was borrowing someone else's identity instead of just owning his own. What's worse is how it all exposed something deeper. Drake looks like he's running from his rap career. It's like he doesn't even want to face that part of himself anymore. The man who once stood as one of hip-hop's biggest forces now looks uncomfortable, even walking on stage. Let's be real. Kendrick Lamar won that beef so completely that Drake can't even perform with confidence anymore. He's out here hiding behind the DJ booth, barely rapping, barely moving, like the fight's been drained out of him. The whole thing felt like a watered-down pop-out concert, but without the passion. The crowd energy was flat, the production felt lazy, and Drake looked disconnected from the moment. This was supposed to be an OVO Sound celebration, a proud Toronto homecoming. But instead, it came off like a forced spectacle, built more for damage control than legacy. And the setup made it worse. Drake plastered massive Vybz Kartel themed signs all over the front of Scotiabank Arena, home of the Toronto Raptors, trying to make it look like some kind of grand cultural statement, but instead it just made him look smaller next to what's happening elsewhere. Because while Drake's hold up in arenas, Kendrick and The Weeknd are out here doing full stadiums. Roger's center level, that's the difference. One's performing like a global icon, and the other's putting on hometown showcases that feel like cover gigs. And honestly, that's what kills Akademiks' whole argument right there. Drake's image has been so damaged lately that even his biggest defenders can't spin this one. The OVO pop out was supposed to be a victory lap, but instead, it became proof that Drake's era of dominance might really be slipping away. It's almost comical at this point. Drake is out here turning his own concert into a punchline. Right on the front of the Scotiabank Arena, he threw up 3 giant signs, trying to make this whole OVO is unstoppable statement. The first one read, "Nothing bigger than the owl," clearly hyping up himself and his brand. Then came "Nothing louder than the sound," promoting his label, OVO Sound. But honestly, let's keep it real. There is something louder than OVO. Silence. Because right now that label's been quiet for years. Nobody's dropping hits, the buzz is gone, and the streets ain't talking about OVO like that anymore, so that sign felt more like wishful thinking than truth. And then there was the third one. Nothing greater than the world boss, a straight up shout out to Vybz Kartel. That's where things got even funnier, because this whole show was clearly built around Vybz' star power, not Drake's. It was Vybz' first time ever performing in Toronto. A huge cultural moment, and Drake tried to make it seem like he was the main attraction. Let's be honest though, he wasn't. The crowd came for Vybz. The energy, the anticipation, the headlines, all because of him. Drake just latched onto that hype to make himself look relevant again. He used Vybz' spotlight as a mirror, hoping some of that shine would bounce back onto him. And here's where it gets even sadder. Drake wasn't even on stage performing. Instead, he was hiding out in the DJ booth, pretending to be part of the action. Like, bro, you're one of the biggest artists in the world. Why are you behind the turntables? It looked like he was afraid to face the crowd. Some people called it creative, but let's be real. It just exposed how much confidence he's lost since the Kendrick beef. Instead of owning the stage, he's standing behind equipment, playing songs, like a background act. At this point, it feels like Drake's entire brand has shrunk. From arenas to booths, from global superstar to local hype man. Sure, he still has influence, but moments like this show just how fragile that image has become. Because when the biggest name in rap is scared to touch the mic at his own event, that says it all. And man, the setlist Drake put together for this show, straight up confusing. It felt like a playlist from an artist who has completely forgotten where he came from. Every song he played sounded like he was pandering to trends that don't belong to him, hopping between Caribbean rhythms, dance hall vibes, and watered-down pop grooves that have nothing to do with the hip-hop roots that made him legendary in the first place. That alone says everything about where Drake's at mentally and musically right now. He's chasing sounds instead of setting them, trying to blend in with everyone instead of standing out like he used to. Now, for those who didn't see the lineup, the set was short, which honestly might have been for the best. He ran through Controller, then a remix of Signs, and somehow even performed Which One? A track that most fans forgot existed. Like, how do you even bring that out in public without cringing? Then came a remix of One Dance, another recycled version of HWGH, and RBD from For All the Dogs, which, let's be real, people are over. And to close it out, Hotline Bling and Nokia. 2 tracks that should have hit, but instead felt like reminders of how far Drake's creative spark has slipped. It's like he's stuck trying to recreate past magic while ignoring what made those moments powerful in the first place. What's wild is that even with all this talk from Akademiks trying to hype Drake up, the performance showed the complete opposite. This wasn't dominance, it was desperation. Drake looked like an artist avoiding rap entirely, like he doesn't even want to be associated with it anymore. And honestly, that's what hurts most. Because the guy who once had every rapper watching his every move now looks like he's running from the genre that built him. Every remix, every borrowed sound, every half-hearted melody just screams confusion. So yeah, it's clear now. Drake's not evolving, he's escaping. And all these excuses people keep making for him, pure nonsense. When you can't even step into a building and deliver bars without hiding behind another sound, it's obvious. The man lost his identity. But if you thought Drake hiding in the DJ booth instead of performing was bad enough, oh, it gets worse. Because during this so-called OVO comeback event, things took another embarrassing turn. What was supposed to be a moment to rebuild his brand and reconnect with fans turned into a straight-up spectacle that had everyone laughing. Instead of standing tall as the face of OVO, Drake spent the night caping for Vybz Kartel like a full-on fanboy. And listen, showing love is cool, but the way Drake did it, it just looked desperate. While Vybz was on stage owning the crowd like a true star, Drake was off in the corner, mic in hand, yelling random hype lines from his little DJ booth like he was trying to prove he still mattered. You could hear him shouting from the shadows, trying to grab attention. Toronto, make some noise, and all that, but it didn't land. The whole thing just looked awkward, like he was begging for a spotlight that wasn't his anymore. What made it even more ironic is how Drake keeps calling himself the ambassador of the Six. But where was that energy when his city needed him earlier this year? After that beef, he went silent. Ducked out, vanished from Toronto events, and didn't do a single major local show for nearly a year. And now suddenly he's trying to play hometown hero. It's like he's trying to rewrite his image overnight, pretending he's always been about the city when everyone knows he's been distant for a while. This OVO event was supposed to fix that, to make it look like he was back and proud. But instead, it just reminded people how disconnected he's really become. Because no matter how many times Drake grabs a mic and shouts, "We back!" from behind a booth, the crowd can feel it. The energy ain't genuine anymore. And honestly, watching all this play out, then going back to rewatch some of the Drake performance clips from that night, it's almost painful. The crowd just wasn't into it. You could see it clear as day. The energy was flat, the faces looked bored, and even during the biggest tracks, the ones Drake once thought ruled the world, people barely moved. These were supposed to be the songs that defined his dominance, the ones that made him the biggest rapper alive, even though most of them aren't even rap records. But now, they couldn't move a room. The disconnect was real, and when you break it down, it makes total sense. Drake made these tracks trying to pander to audiences far outside the hip-hop lane, leaning heavy into dancehall, Afro beats, pop, anything that could expand his reach. But now that formula's catching up to him because the people he built his legacy on, the rap fans, don't feel that connection anymore. To make it worse, Drake was on stage talking in that fake accent again, trying to sound like he's from somewhere he's not. It's cringy every single time he does it. Like, bro, just be yourself. Why are you out here morphing into different personalities every few months? It's weird, and people see through it. Then came the part we've seen 100 times before. His recycled monologue moment. You know the one? He grabs the mic, gives a speech about how much he loves the artist performing, tells the crowd to make some noise, and then somehow turns it into a whole story about himself. It's classic Drake, trying to sound humble while low-key making it all about his own journey. He's done it with J. Cole, now with Vybz Kartel, and every time it feels rehearsed, like a script he's been running since 2016. You can tell he wants to seem genuine, but the delivery just feels performative, almost robotic. And the worst part, by the time he's done talking, half the crowd forgets who the speech was even for. It's supposed to be about uplifting others, but it always circles back to Drake being Drake. So yeah, when you step back and really look at it, it's sad. He's still outside, still trying to prove something, but it's all coming off as forced and awkward. The confidence that once made him unstoppable now feels replaced by insecurity. And in trying so hard to look cool, he just keeps embarrassing himself more and more. At this point, Drake isn't even performing for real anymore. He's just DJing, spinning his own tracks and calling it a show. And honestly, it's doing nothing for his legacy. There's no real impact, no cultural shift, no excitement, just noise that fades the second the lights go off. Meanwhile, when Kendrick Lamar moves, the entire culture stops to pay attention. Every post, every appearance, every verse becomes headline news. People debate it, dissect it, and break down what it means for music as a whole. Kendrick's presence creates conversation. Drake's presence just creates memes. That's the reality right now. For every Kendrick moment that raises the bar, there's a Drake moment that lowers it. And the sad part is, Drake doesn't even realize how much he's becoming his own punchline. Because when he's not dropping half-baked records or hiding behind the DJ booth, nobody's even talking about him anymore. His moves don't shake the culture. They barely ripple. And yet, people like Akademiks keep pushing this tired story that Drake is the savior of hip-hop, when in truth, the opposite's happening. If we're being honest, Drake isn't saving the game, he's dragging it down. His constant missteps, his endless PR moments, his refusal to evolve musically, all of it has created this wave of mediocrity where artists stop trying, thinking they can coast the same way he does. And that's the wildest part. Drake's downfall hasn't just hurt him, it's infected the whole scene. You can feel it in the music industry. Artists have stopped competing, stopped pushing boundaries, and started quietly giving up. They're watching their so-called leader burn out and subconsciously following his lead. So when Ak keeps hyping up Drake as this untouchable icon, it's delusion. The truth is right there in front of us. Drake's dominance is fading, his influence is weakening, and his attempts to cling to relevance just look sad now. The downfall isn't coming, it's already here. And for Akademiks and that strange little circle of enablers still defending him, it's time to face reality. The myth of Drake the savior is officially over. Because if people actually looked at things the way we just did, with clear eyes and no bias, they'd see the truth. If Akademiks stopped waiting on Drake's texts about missed birthday wishes and started facing reality, he'd understand exactly what's going on here. But we know that's not happening anytime soon. If anything, it's only gonna get worse from here. At this point, Drake and Akademiks really are like the worst couple in hip-hop, one constantly covering for the other, both looking ridiculous in the process. And honestly, I can already see the next headline coming because every time they try to prove something, it just turns into another public fail. So yeah, that's where we're at. Drake fumbling, Akademiks spinning stories, and Kendrick quietly winning without even trying. The contrast couldn't be clearer. And for all those out there still defending Drake's ego and blaming Kendrick for hip-hop's problems, just stop, you're missing the point completely. Because this isn't about who's the hero or villain anymore. It's about who's really pushing the culture forward. And right now, that sure isn't Drake. The man's been too busy chasing validation instead of greatness. So tell me what you think. Is Drake's downfall finally hitting that breaking point? Is Akademiks digging his own grave trying to protect him? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear what you think about everything we broke down today. The fake loyalty, the endless excuses, and the wild attempt to blame Kendrick for it all. And hey, if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. And if you want to keep this energy going, make sure to watch the next video, because what I'm about to reveal about Drake's latest moves ties perfectly into this whole story. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. See you on the next one.